What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's time for another recap of what went down on this week's episode of Jenelle Evans's I Have Something to Say mockumentary. We're saying mockumentary because documentaries have to be objective and truthful, and this mockumentary series she's got going on is anything but that. And we're going to continue poking holes in her series in this recap. So she starts off the video admitting to going to anger management and substance abuse classes, David doing the same as well by court order. And then she puts up a document that outlined what sorts of, criteria were covered in her domestic violence counseling class. So as you can see, they covered symptoms of abuse scaling and scoring, healthy and unhealthy relationship cycle training, core beliefs training and processing, in addition to assertiveness communication training. And each class was 2 hours long. I don't know how many total classes it was that she went to, but 2 hours per class is pretty comprehensive if you ask me. It's just unfortunate that these comprehensive classes did not help her to break free of her cycle of abuse from her husband, David Eason. Now, when it comes to David Eason, Jenelle also uploaded his anger management report, and it was quite long, you guys. There were claims that he was bullied for being poor, which I'm not sure I believe. I am willing to bet that the majority of his classmates were also poor based on the area that he grew up. He said that his mother was a drug addict and that he blamed his dad for not knowing how to channel his anger. According to David, his father taught him to channel his anger by punching dead trees, which is quite odd, just based off the fact, listen, he's young. You're asking him to punch trees, which is not all that healthy for those young bones, right? He also claims that the one physical altercation that he got into in school was in defense of his then girlfriend, who he claims was being sexually harassed by someone else on the playground or whatever. And I'm not sure that I believe that. As we continue to go along this report, you'll see that David Eason did an incredible job of painting himself as the guiding, holy man who was always, victimized in society. Nothing was ever his fault. Really, David Eason, who shoots dogs and pet goats or whatever, allegedly abuses his wife and his kids, never once got into a schoolyard fight except to protect his then girlfriend. Really? I'm supposed to believe that? Sorry, but I don't. And especially because he describes the guy who was harassing her as the high school quarterback. To me, it just seems so cliche, you know what I mean? He also claims that his brother is the one in his family who's been going in and out of jail, as if David himself does not have an entire wall of mugshots. He's like, oh, and my brother and I would often physically fight. He even tried to kill me once. I had to be taken to the hospital and everything. It's really wild, the amount of stories that he was telling to the practitioner. He also claims that his ex-wife Olivia was the one who was unfaithful throughout the course of their marriage, and that she was the one dealing with substance abuse issues. He also claims that he was wrongfully, of course, charged with trespassing and not grand larceny, but larceny period, when he was trying to retrieve scrap metal from the marital home that they once shared after the divorce. And he served 6 months in prison. He claims that that was because he did not want to pay restitution fees. Again, guys, this guy is the ultimate victim in this report. I guess that the person here, I would hope, just had to write down what David was telling him and did not actually believe every single word of it, because it is just too damn much, I tell you. Nothing is his fault whatsoever as far as this report goes. The icing on the cake is that David blames, Teen Mom 2 for the CPS problems he has with Jenelle, which is funny because no one else on Teen Mom 2 currently has CPS issues. You know what I mean? It's always been a Jenelle issue because, on camera, she has been an incredibly neglectful parent. And then David, you too, as a partner and as a parent, you've shown us that you are a hot ASS mess that people should worry about around children. Sorry, not sorry. That's just the way that you've been presenting yourself, and that's the way that people have been receiving you. It is not like every single person on Teen Mom 2 or Teen Mom OG deals with CPS issues. Macy Bookout has never dealt with them. Brianna DeJesus has not. Chelsea Huska has not. Jade Klein, so far to my knowledge, has not. The list truly does go on there. And then he claims that the only reason that CPS took the children out of the home was because he punched a hole in a wall and would swear here and there, which is absolutely ridiculous because, again, this guy took the family dog out back within hearing distance of the children, and the children could connect the dots that he's taking the dog. All of a sudden, boom, they hear a gunshot, no more dog. That was traumatic. That is one of the big catalysts for the children being taken out of his home. But of course, he does not want to own up to that. He's like, listen, I might have slapped a wall here and there. I might have dropped an S word, an F word, and that's why they took my kids. No one is believing that, David, okay? There also were dozens upon dozens of 911 calls from his own wife, Jenelle Evans, alleging abuse. Remember, she claimed that he tried to crack her collarbone. There was a time when she claimed that he was punching walls through the house, and she was so terrified. She was hiding up in the attic, so terrified that she left her children down, to deal with that mess, by the way. Stop it. Who do you think we are? We already have every single last 911 call receipt out there to clock you on. Moving right along, David was ultimately diagnosed with adjustment disorder with mixed anxiety and mood depression disorder. Just so you guys know, adjustment disorder is a group of symptoms such as stress, feeling sad or hopeless, and physical symptoms that can occur after you go through a stressful life event. I got that from the Mayo Clinic website, that definition. The clinician in charge of assessing him claimed that he was a very well-spoken person who was motivated to change his ways in order to get his kids back, and that losing the children truly did have him feeling hopeless and in despair, and that was something that he wanted to, change his life around for. Jenelle then talks about how they allegedly passed a hair follicle test, which I'm not sure if I buy, because listen, she's been trying to post receipts this entire time for every other claim, but for some reason there is no receipt to prove that they passed the hair follicle drug test. How effing convenient is that? And by the way, there are also a couple of ways that you can potentially pass a hair follicle drug test despite being a drug user that I found online, because I was just so skeptical of their claims. Number one being that if you use a moderate amount spaced out, you will be able to pass, allegedly, depending on your body composition, blah, blah, blah. Everybody is different. There are also some hair follicle, cleansing shampoos that are marketed to people. I clicked the link. So now, oh my God, it's going to be so embarrassing when I use my computer in front of people and I get a bunch of ads about passing drug tests with special shampoo. In the next scene, Jenelle is in the car waiting for David to go through his anger management class, which I was like, sis, you don't have anything better to do? You have to sit out in the car for an hour in the middle of the summer while your husband goes to class? Really? That's weird. And she starts, quote unquote, crying about missing her kids. Listen, the tears were very sparse, okay? And she says that she's been having nightmares and waking up to throw up because of the anxiety and the sadness of missing the kids. Guys, imagine you're doing your grocery shopping and you're at a strip mall parking lot trying to put your groceries away. You turn around, the chick in the car next to you is making herself cry and filming it on camera. You'd be a little bit weird, you know what I mean? This girl truly does get off on crying on camera. She talks about how her relationship with her mom crashed and burned during this time, and that, get this, remember how in episodes 1 and 2, Barbara was I don't know, CPS, they claim that David was this dangerous person, violent person, but I've never seen it. Sure, they curse here and there, whatever, but it's no big deal. Well, Jenelle blows the lid off on that. She says that her relationship with her mom was horrible at this time, and that Barbara got up on the stand and testified her damn self that David was a bad person who shouldn't be around kids. The ultimate flip-flopper of the franchise, Barbara freaking Evans. I cannot stand this woman. She really tried to play dumb in episodes 1 and 2, but Jenelle is just so daft as a producer that she left this incredibly contradictory testimony of her own about how safe David is to be around kids. You know what I mean? Some people might have fallen for that happy family, everyone on the same page narrative that she was trying to spin in the previous episodes. But she caused all of that to crash and burn when she got up right here and admitted that it wasn't true. In actuality, Barbara was campaigning hard for David to never be able to see these kids again, because in reality, Barbara does seem to believe that David is a bad person, according to Jenelle, who shouldn't be around kids. And now, based on this, you can continue on and say, listen, this woman somehow convinced her mom to lie in this documentary. So, of course, nothing she says can be trusted. She then says, yeah, like, those reports about Marissa testifying are kind of true. She did get up on stand and testify that David and I cuss each other out on the land. But listen, I don't believe that it is limited to that. Jenelle is trying to sanitize what really happened. I believe that Marissa probably testified that they scream and fight all day, every day. It's not just a casual cussing here and there. It is screaming. We've seen them on video in preparation for the wedding. David effing raking and stuff. Jenelle like screaming next to the shed about like him not spending time with her or whatever ahead of the wedding. Remember Janelle's own 911 calls about him punching walls around the house, her hiding in the attic. You don't think that they would ask the daughter about where she was while all this was happening? Like, really? She also claims that CPS forced her to involuntarily sign her kids away or get them shipped off to various foster homes. Anyway, her hair follicle test did actually come out positive for marijuana, and she claims that she and David actually do have medical cards for it that they put into place whenever they are in different states. And she refused to do a psych evaluation. Actually, she and David claimed that they went to Raleigh, which was about a 3-hour drive allegedly, to figure out if they wanted to do it. So they get the questionnaire. It's about 3 pages, like 500 questions, I think she said. And then, when they talked to her lawyer apparently said that it's only severely like unstable people who take those tests, which again, I don't believe for a second. And I kind of feel like, listen, your lawyer has always been at your disposal. So why would you not check in with your lawyer about this before driving, a total of 6 hours round trip to turn around and ask your lawyer again? You know what I mean? It just didn't make any kind of a sense. Next, David's anger management class is finally done, so he gets back in the car and starts claiming that it was his ex-wife who tried to beat him up while he was just minding his own business, sitting in a chair similar to what I'm doing here. And apparently she was pregnant at the time, mind you. She just started wailing on him and fell. And then she claimed that he was the one who beat her up. This was just so damn fake, y'all. It sounds suspiciously similar to Janelle's cover-up story about the collarbone incident. Remember, she initially claimed that he assaulted her and then got on top of her and she heard her collarbone snap. And then later when she was explaining it away, she claims that, we were just drunk. We fell into a hole on top of each other and I was just stupid, and I thought that he was trying to beat me. Sure, Jan. Can I just say that I was dead to the bed when he and Jenelle start ranting and raving about how people who falsify police reports deserve to spend time in jail. It is just so hilarious considering Jenelle has filed many a report against her husband just to turn around and backtrack. Most recently, that restraining order she got against him while she was trying to divorce him claimed that he abused her and the children on multiple occasions, but now she's claiming that it was all fake. So sis, pick your cell block, by your own little admission and claim here, you deserve to be in jail. Shoot, by my own opinion as well, you deserve for the amount of times that you have been wasting police resources, especially for real domestic violence victims. David then claims that his brother threw a television at him and tried to kill him, but guys, my lunch order was delivered, so I had to pause, and then after this, I was a little bit over the video, so I was like kind of half paying attention. When I came back, he was talking about how there's different types of anger, like there's different types of love, and like how can you have confidence in war without anger? Like, weird. Then he says that he thinks you can be bipolar for 10 minutes, then go to your doctor, tell him or her that you are bipolar, and then they'll write it down in your medical file that you're bipolar and you're branded that way for life. I was like, sir, I know that healthcare is very expensive in America, but surely you've been to the doctor at least, enough times to know that this isn't exactly the way it goes down, right? Right? It was so weird, you guys. Like, oh my God, like to be this dumb and like proudly so, as if like he really felt like he was saying something like, oh my God. And then lastly, he talked about how people claim that he popped balloons at that reunion with a knife when it was just a keychain. And he said that people are just discriminating against him because of all this stuff that's already in the press about him. And so everyone just acts like they're scared of him and embellishes the stories that they have about him because they know that it is so easy to make people believe the worst of him. But listen, child, You are just a mess, David. I don't even know what to say here. The amount of holes I have popped in this part 4 alone of this mockumentary, I almost said documentary, damn, series is unbelievable. But anyway, you guys, as usual, I'm more excited to hear what you have to say about everything. So please make sure to let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.